Here are some pro tips, settings and secrets for Battlefield 6, today sponsored by Nvidia, captured on an RTX 5090 with DLSS and Nvidia Reflex. More on that later. The recon drone can be used to destroy enemy mines by aiming and using the shoot button when you fly close enough. If they explode next to an enemy and take them out, you will get the credit. This works on destroying vehicles too. If you spot mines on the ground and an enemy vehicle nearby, time it right and blow that vehicle up. You can also use the drone to take out enemy equipment like spawn beacons, soft lamps, and if you spot an enemy on a mortar, you can zap them with it too and get the kill credit as they go flying in the air. If you're an engineer, you can pick up and disable enemy mines, walk up to them and hold the interact key. If you have mines equipped already, this will add them to your own inventory. If you're in a vehicle with tracks like the IFV or the battle tank, you can hold the crouch key to slowly crawl the vehicle. This allows you to roll over enemy mines without exploding them, and your vehicle will make less noise. Could be a good surprise tactic. It also lets you stay hidden from the acoustic sensor mine. Here you can see on Operation Firestorm, I'm holding the crouch key and going right past the mine and it doesn't trigger. You can destroy walls in this game by shooting them. Put enough lead into this thing and eventually it's going to crumble. I don't think many people actually know this yet, but yeah, that's totally a thing that you can do. If you hold your melee key down, you can equip your melee weapon. Do this with one of the knives and you will run significantly faster than with your gun out. This will allow you to catch up to enemies, get to objectives faster, and will be very useful in the upcoming Battlefield Battle Royale. You can also run faster with class gadgets equipped. For example, selecting the defibs on support gives you quicker movement speed, as does the repair tool on the engineer class. If you hold the crouch key while you're sprinting, you can do a crouch sprint. This is good for keeping a low profile while still moving at a decent speed. Use this in low cover areas or trenches. Another movement tip, if you hold back and prone, you will dive onto your back and stay on the ground if you want to. This is useful for hiding in dark areas and blending in. You can also push back and move back firing at the same time. Could save your life, looks pretty cool. You can damage and destroy any vehicle with the sledgehammer melee weapon. Yes, any, even tanks. As a last resort, this could come in clutch when you run out of explosives. Also, the sledgehammer can take out chunks of the support shield and the environment to make new firing positions that the enemy won't expect. If you aim down the sight when you walk up to a door and interact with it, it will slowly open. This is quieter than bashing or opening the door normally and may not alert nearby enemies to your entrance. If you're in a building that's being destroyed and there's rubble landing on top of you, make sure that you keep moving. If you stand still when the building is collapsing on you, you're going to take more damage and you could die. However, if you sprint and move around, you take less damage and are more likely to survive. If a sniper is looking at you through a scope and you see that the usual glint has changed from white to a rainbow effect, that means that you're in their sweet spot range and they could potentially kill you with one shot to the torso. Might be time to get moving. When playing as support, if you put your ammo and health bag down but your teammates move, you can pick it back up. Doing this will massively decrease the cooldown on it. Pick it up, wait a couple of seconds and deploy it again in a better location for your team. Another support tip for the defibs. If you tap the button for a revive, your teammate will come back with 50% health. If you hold down the key, it will charge the defibs and you'll see the charge LED indicator on the paddles light up. This means that you will now give one full health revive before you have to charge the defibs again. Always go for a full health revive if you can. I have seen people discuss the theory that a full charge gives you 3 full health revives, but I've tested this myself and as far as I can tell, it only ever gives 1. Did you know that the base anti-air minigun will automatically shoot down missiles for you? Check this out. Could be useful if you've burnt your flares and you have an incoming missile fly towards your base. Looks really cool, and also it will shoot down rockets fired from helicopters. It doesn't get them all if they're fired in quick succession, but most of them get deleted before they make contact with the target, and it takes out dumb bombs from jets. Good tip for an engineer here: when you spawn in, if you want more explosives in your life, find a support bag and sit on it. This will allow you to carry more rockets and mines. You can see here I went all the way up to carrying 5 rockets for my RPG, meaning I can stay in combat versus vehicles for longer. And when you're fighting vehicles with rockets, hit them in the back where their armor is weaker. Tanks and IFVs in particular take way more damage in the rear. If you're the one in the vehicle who's taken damage though and finding that you aren't repairing to full, pay attention to the dots on your health bar. If your vehicle health has fallen below one of these dots, it will only auto repair back up to the next one. So to full repair, you either need to repair tool yourself, get a teammate to repair tool you, or find a vehicle repair supply station. These things here. If you're in an air vehicle, you can use these too, and also the ones on the runway that look like this. While we're in the air vehicle, you can fire lock-on missiles in any direction by rotating the camera with the V button by default on PC, and on Xbox and PS5, it's down on the D-pad. Very useful in jets or helicopters if you're flying in the wrong direction but still want to output damage. Another vehicle tip, if you want to exit in a specific direction to make sure that you've got cover from incoming enemy fire, simply look in that direction before you exit and then press the exit key. If you do this, you will leave the vehicle on whatever side that you're looking. Very useful, and if you're new to Battlefield, you may not have known that one. You also might not know that in Battlefield 6, the bullets come out of the gun barrel rather than the center of your screen. So if you find yourself aiming at a target but not hitting them, seeing bullets hitting cover in front of you instead, step back a bit from the cover that you're using so the barrel of your gun has clearance. And now you should be able to hit those targets. On Mirak Valley, you can shoot the cement cylinder here on the crane and drop it on unsuspecting enemies or vehicles below if you're lucky. If you want to take the crane down completely, shoot the counterweight at the back of it. Rockets and explosives work best. Eventually, this will cause it to crash into the ground in spectacular fashion. Moving and shooting at the same time in BF6 introduces weapon penalties. If you want to be more accurate and effective, stand still to shoot, burst, and tap fire. Obviously, if the target is close enough, hose them down with full auto and keep mobile. To counteract bloom and spread in this game, focus on using attachments like the vertical grip and converter, for example, that increase the precision stat. Mounting is an option too, and if you're near a corner or a surface that you can mount on, this icon will appear. Aim and you will peek around or above that surface, and if you press the melee key while you're aiming, you will then mount it for a fixed firing position. You can also deploy your bipod using the melee key when mounted or prone for better weapon stats. Additionally, if you want lower recoil, spread and bloom on all of your guns overall, simply use a controller. If you plug a controller in, they've got more forgiving stats than when you're using a mouse. We're going to take a look at some settings now. I'm not going to overwhelm you here. We're just going to change a few things that I think can make a big difference. In the graphics settings, make sure that the Sovis filter is turned on. This improves soldier visibility by adding a subtle white glow to enemy players. You can see a big difference here with it turned off and on, especially when players are moving. In this same menu, disable everything else in interface and HUD apart from show HUD. In camera settings, for better visibility, you might want to increase your field of view a little bit and set weapon field of view to wide. Turn weapon and motion blur all the way to 0 and camera shake amount to 50, which is the lowest value. Make sure reduce sprint camera bobbing is turned on and turn off chromatic aberration, vignette and film grain. The game will look much clearer now. In the audio tab, I've personally found that the headphone sound system with high dynamic audio mix gives me the best directional footstep audio. That's my recommendation, but test it on your own setup and you might find something else works better for you. You could also consider turning the music volume down too, as well as Commander VO and Soldier VO volume for less in-game distractions. Also in the audio tab, turn Tinnitus SFX volume to 0 and disable radio music if you don't want to hear that. In the graphics advanced HUD settings, set the minimap size to large for a bigger minimap. In icons and indicators, turn down the icon intensity to around 40. You can go into HUD icons too and edit almost every icon in the game, but there's a lot of settings there. Not going to get into that today. In crosshairs and indicators, opacity should be 100. Intensity, knock it up a bit, maybe to 70 or 80. Set crosshair thickness to thick and turn crosshair projection off if you want a static crosshair. As for graphics and resolution, I'm playing at 4K in this video thanks to today's sponsor Nvidia. Make sure you set your native monitor resolution here and the highest refresh rate possible for it. In the graphics quality settings, I typically set everything to maximum for video recordings, but if I was in try-hard mode and I wanted to maximize my frame rate, latency and visibility, I would put everything here on the lowest possible setting except for texture quality and texture filtering on high. In the advanced graphics tab, turn Nvidia Reflex Low Latency on. This will give you a more responsive feel and lower input lag from the game. Anti-aliasing, I really like how DLAA looks now. This is basically Nvidia native resolution and creates a very sharp native image with no obvious jaggies for me. It's my preferred anti-aliasing method in any game that's got it now, and you'll get a super clear picture with this setting in Battlefield 6. If you felt like you needed or wanted more performance though, higher frame rates, I would set the DLSS to quality or performance mode based on your expectations. So here on Cairo, I'm at native 4K with DLAA, everything maxed out overkill, and we're getting around 102 frames per second average with a 32 millisecond latency. If I then enable DLSS quality mode, the frame rate jumps to 148, so that will saturate my monitor hertz, giving me a nice smooth experience, and the latency has reduced to 23.5 ms, which is great. 4K DLSS performance next. This is a very popular DLSS mode for PC gamers. Using 4K monitors, the frame rate boosts up to about 174, and the latency comes way down to 16 ms. It feels very snappy. And just for fun, let's test out multi-frame generation. This will generate extra frames with AI as we play. On the 2x setting, we're now rocking 272 frames per second with a 26.9 ms latency. So if you're lucky enough to have a 4K 240Hz monitor, you're living the dream. And on the 4x setting, a ridiculous 430 FPS. Very smooth and lots of extra FPS for not much input delay when using MFG in Battlefield 6. It's about the same as native right now on my machine in this scenario. So if you've got an RTX 50 series GPU, play around with these settings to find the right balance for you. As I'm playing here at 4K 120 on a RTX 5090, I'm going to turn MFG off as I already hit 100 FPS without it and I'm happy with how that feels. Links are below if you want to learn more about Nvidia and their graphics cards. Today we were playing on a 5090, and thanks again to them for sponsoring the video. If you're unfortunately set on fire in the game, remove yourself from the fire and go prone. This will extinguish the flames quicker and you'll take less damage. If you see a backpack on the ground, it's somebody's kit. It will show you what kind of kit it is with the class icon, and you can pick this kit up and use it to change class mid-fight. Useful if you've run out of ammo or if you see an engineer kit on the ground nearby and a vehicle is approaching. If you look directly at an objective marker, if it's being contested, it will show you how many players from each team are on that objective. Good info to have to know how to attack that point or to leave it alone until you've got backup. When you're on the objective itself, the bar at the top shows you how many friendly and enemy players are currently contesting it. If there's a support player in your squad and they aren't dropping you ammo or health, you can go up to them and interact to grab some for yourself instead. Shout out to Battlefield Hardline. The minimap shows your enemy position and elevation. If the diamond is solid, that means that they're on the same level as you. If it has an up arrow in it, they're above you. If it has a down arrow in it, they're below you. When looking at an enemy, they will have a hollow diamond above them that only you can see. If they are then spotted, the diamond turns solid, meaning that everyone on your team can see the spot on that enemy. Generally speaking, if you don't have a flash hider or suppressor on your gun, you will be 3D spotted while you shoot. A flash hider and suppressor on your gun will stop the 3D spot, but you will show up with the flash hider still on the minimap, and with the suppressor, if there's any enemy within 10 to 15 meters of you, you're still going to show up to those players on the minimap when you shoot. These attachments won't make you invisible. If you deploy in with the wrong class, kit or loadout, don't move and you can change it. Press Y on PC, hold the view button on Xbox and hold the touchpad on PlayStation 5. This will let you change all of your gear on the fly without needing to redeploy and waste a ticket. If you suppress enemy players by shooting near them, you will stop them auto-regenerating health. This is a powerful mechanic, and the only way to get health back if you're being suppressed is by standing in the radius of a supply bag. When falling from big heights, make sure that you press your crouch key right before you land. This will mitigate damage and allow you to keep your momentum. Of course, it has its limits, and if you fall from too high, you will turn into a pile of jelly on the floor. The mortar gadget and your shots get more accurate if you keep firing it at roughly the same location. You can position the recon decoy gadget in different stances. This is a nice attention to detail. You can deploy them standing, crouched, or even prone, if you're prone when you deploy it. Mix these up for a bit of variety in confusing your enemies. On Operation Firestorm, if there are players camping at the top of the largest tower, go to the base of it and interact with the purge valve control button here. This will cause giant flames to incinerate and kill any enemies at the top if they stay there. This was in previous iterations of the map, and it's nice to see it make a return in BF6. You have class perks and abilities that level up to an ultimate as you play, giving you access to a temporary buff. Recon gets to call in a UAV, Support turns them into a mobile supply bag, Engineer turbocharges their repair tool, and Assault grants an adrenaline effect to you and your squad. Use these abilities when they're available by pressing 6 on PC, and on Xbox and PS5 press both shoulder buttons at the same time. If you're finding that you have limited ammo on the Assault class, it's probably because you've got the weapon sling gadget equipped, and this allows you to carry 2 primary weapons, but it does ruin your ammo capacity. So replace the weapon sling with a different gadget, and then your primary weapon will start with more ammunition. Before throwing a smoke grenade, think about where the best place to throw it is. If you're pushing a group of enemies or an objective, throw it on their position rather than on yours. This will allow you to push towards them and force them to move if they want line of sight on you. If you request health or ammo using the comma rows and there's a support bag nearby you, it will pulse on your interface and minimap to get your attention. And when you're in the radius of a support bag for ammo or healing, you can see this icon at the bottom of the screen showing you that it's working. You can also see the progress of the gadgets resupplying in the bottom right on the HUD, and this progress saves, so if you leave the supply bag and then go back to it, you'll carry on from where you left off. The assault ladder can be deployed in 3 ways depending on how you place it. There's a ladder on a steep angle, as a ramp on a shallow angle, or as a bridge. Use these to your advantage. For example, with the ramp mode, you can keep your gun out, and therefore you can use it to create new head glitches to shoot from that aren't usually possible. And that's all I've got for now, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this and learned something new, found it valuable, entertaining. Do let me know any of your favorite tips and tricks down in the comments below as well. Maybe we can make another one of these videos in the future. And a big thanks again to Nvidia for sponsoring today. Drop me a like, guys. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.